Common problem, O-ring leaking on the S800. This is an s925tx. It's very similar on the s800tx. We'll show you how to replace the O-rings or O-ring that are a very common problem. If it's leaking oil underneath, hydraulic oil, it's probably one of these O-rings. And I'll show you how to get to it and swap it out. First thing you're going to want to do is raise the arms for safety. On the 800, the safety mechanism is underneath. This is a little bit better spot in my opinion. That up there, then we have these 6, and up your hood, there's 6 15mm. Once you got that out, it's pretty heavy. Don't give it a little shake. Tilt it forward. And up. Down. Show you over here. On the 925, which is what this one is, there's this little silver, I think this is like a hydraulic diverter valve, something. And there's this silver cylinder thing. There's one nut that holds it on, and the O-rings are inside of that, and you can usually tell which ones are leaking, but we're just going to verify real quick that something in here is leaking by turning it on. Shine a light. I do see a little bit of oil. We just want to pinpoint exactly where it's actually. I think I see a broken O-ring in there, but we're going to take a look, make sure it's leaking from there. Should be. And it looks like, yep, right down in there. So, I'm gonna get a wrench for that nut there. And take this little clip off. Always easy. Actually, you might not have to. That one doesn't seem to want to go. Let me grab some pliers. Oops. Actually, might not have to take that nut off. Or that clip, sorry. Fourth time's the charm. There it is. This is going to be a 19mm. Get in there. Not the best accessible. All right. I'll go with an opener and wrench here. And that turns the whole cylinder, but if you hold this cylinder while you're loosening that, you can pull this nut right off. And set this aside. Then this will slide right off. Hopefully. There it goes. So you didn't have to unclip the electrical component there. And then we can get that big nut off, and I don't know what size that is. I'm just going to use an adjustable wrench. I hope that my adjustable wrench is big enough. Wasn't on there very tight. Oh yeah, there's the O-ring. And it is broke. And if you worry about oil in your machine, it'd be a good time to put something underneath the catch. we like to use the 4-inch sewer cap. And there's the oil. Pieces of broken O-ring right there. As you can see, I'll get a pick. So I can see that this O-ring is clearly, you know, I don't know if it gets hot or what happens to these O-rings, or if they don't use a good enough O-ring from the factory, but it's very common to see this O-ring just torn to shreds like this one is. That's going to let the oil leak out. The oil is going to go into your machine. There's a hole down there somewhere. Oil finds its way there. And usually it's a brand new driveway that you find your oil leak on. So that's the O-ring. I wish I knew the size to tell you, and I know from my dealer, my Vermeer dealer, you can ask them. They don't have a part number for it, which is annoying, but they are the white ones. And if you say, I need the white O-rings, they might be able to give you something like that. They're a little heavy duty. I don't know if I have one that's white. Here's the Vermeer department. Don't have one this big, but over here you can see what it's supposed to look like. They sent me a whole kit. I guess that's a seal kit part number there. And it doesn't have this one in it. That might have been for the 800. They're a little bit different, but I just go over to my box of O-rings, try to find one that's the same size. Got some nice Amazon, probably not the best O-rings. They work for a while. And of course the sizes aren't marked or anything. I usually just take two. That one's might do it a little bit thick. I like it's still too big. That is pretty darn close. There. Try my other box. See if there's a little bit closer fit. I think that one might be it, just to make sure. It's important to keep your O-rings very organized. Yep, this is about the closest I'm going to get. It's probably exactly the right size. No idea what size that is, but I'm going to put it in there. Slip it on, pull it over. There's a little bit of junk on my fingers, so I'm gonna get a rag. Good. Clean it up. There is another possibility. If it's leaking, you got two other O-rings. It looks like a O-ring and then a backup plastic piece. Those don't fail as often as this one does on this machine. And on the 800, you'll just have to open it up and see if you have the S800 and not the 925. The S800, it's located, the box is like down there lower. They put this one up higher. I don't know if that matters, but they both still leak. Just hand thread this on. This unit has 670 hours. I believe it's the first O-ring we had to put in it. It seems sporadic, spontaneous when they fail. Usually when you're in the middle of a job and it's hot outside and you're almost done. Well, that's on there tight. Oil out of here. Our cylinder. Kind of hard to get it around that radiator hose. That 15mm bolt. I did lose a little bit of fluid, so we're going to lower the arms here in a second and check to make sure our fluid's at the right level. Nope, sorry, that was the 19mm for this nut. 15mm are the bolts that go on to hold this black cover on. That nut feels like you can over tighten it. I think it'll actually bend this, so I don't go too crazy. Tighten it just good and snug. And that's about it. Just reinstall the black plate, check the hydraulic fluid, and it shouldn't leak anymore for a while.